Hello there. This is my corner tea bar, and my name is Carlos. What I have here, well, here are supplements, none of your business. But what I have here is roasted bitter melon Tianwan gin from Stone Leaf Tea House in Vermont. And this tea has the cool thing that you're gonna hear a lot of crackling. It comes inside of a bitter melon. Like some people are familiar with the mandarin or whatever. So I just crushed it, and then there are pieces of the melon that come out. Looks like bark. Um, so I'll just grab some of those and put them back in here. But apparently, you just put this in the tea. 7, 6, 6.5, 5.9. That's not bad. 5.5, and it seems to have a bit of a good. I mean, it's a good ratio, kind of like almost 2/3 tea, 1/3 bitter melon. I'll bring it to you so you can see it. And it shows up right there. See, you can see the melon, bitter melon stuff, the skin. And I was drinking earlier Farmer Leaf Feng Shui Jingmai Oolong Black, which is like between Oolong and between black. I consider them more of like a black tea actually. So I'm heating up this, and we're gonna start by resetting the counters there. Got a little bit of tea in the plate. So this is also how I do it when I'm drinking different teas. Nothing fancy, and just rinse your stuff. That's all there is to it. Today's topic of conversation would be coming from the Tao. The Tao has a lot of wisdom in it, and one of the things that people usually think about the Tao is like Wu Wei is like whatever, let it be, let it go, don't worry about it, kind of a thing. Um, you know, like just the way of nature, and if you interfere too much with nature, blah blah, it would it would just not be the nature. But honestly, if you watch kids interact with each other, you have to constantly be stopping them from killing each other or from being super cruel to animals or whatever. Like human nature is not kind. So humankind my butt. Um, so we'll talk about that in a second. But let's just take a sniff of this Tianwan Jin, bitter melon Tianwan Jin. I absolutely love it, and I definitely recommend you get the whole thing. Oh, yeah, it's like coffee, chocolate, um, on the side of like that type of profile, like Arabica, honey, like some sort of flowery thing. Of course, I don't smell any melon anything. And yeah, it's like honey roasted peanut butter type of smell, but not that smell, but that type of rich, almost like edible smell. And it's pretty edible. Man, the thing makes me hungry. So as you see, the water boiled, and I'm not being too aggressive with it. And it's gonna be a quick rinse, and we'll try it. The rinse gets me in the right place in terms of like wrapping myself up, and does the same with the vessels. You saw I was drinking a different tea, so like now by putting this rinse right here, I am like resetting. Oh, it's like milky, and it has, yeah, well, there's an accentuation of the same profile I smelled earlier on dry leaves. This is pretty good. Like I tend to like actually kind of like chew on the tea when it's like that. And in Chile, where I'm from, we also have a lot of wine, and really good wine. And you drink so much wine, on the table, like just part of meals and the weekend gatherings, whatever. It's always wine, man. So there is a point where you are drinking really good wine, kind of like all the time, and you're not sort of like slurping every time, because you're not professionally trying to order a certain quantity of something and thinking about, like, no, you're just enjoying your meal and enjoying the the drink, the wine, and the atmosphere, and in our culture that's rude to be slurping. So I just wanted to say that because I see a lot of people think that to drink tea you gotta be slurping, and you don't. Also, you don't need to be sitting on the floor. But in any case, let's just keep track, because I actually sometimes do too much on this. It's not gonna be bad if I do too much, but it's definitely gonna take it to a level that it's not what I'm looking for. I mean, 20 seconds, that's probably all I need for the first one. We're at 22, and it's brewing a very, very clear liquor, like jewel like. There you go. So, what's going on with what I said about Taoism? I was thinking about parenting, and and first disclosure is like every single human being is different. So you have, for the most part, people that only have one child think that their children is absolutely 100% a product of their parenting and who they are genetically. But if these people had 10 kids, they will realize that there are some things they have in common, but they are very different amongst themselves. So I think the highest number of kids in my family is three, meaning like my direct family. My sister has three, my little sister has two. They're all super different amongst themselves, and it's the same parents. So that's one thing that I wanted to say to keep in mind. But what I'm gonna say next comes from Taoism, and is that there, just like there is strength in the subtle, there is strength in what seems weak, and there is a lot in this philosophy that is like the opposite of what you think it is on the surface. Easy parenting, like especially amongst the forming years before like they become adults. I guess that's all of parenting. But let's say before 12, before 14, easy parenting, meaning like treating your kids like if they were an equal, negotiating with them, letting them talk back, or make choices that they should not be making, like eating something different than what it was cooked for the whole family. Like I don't like that, so I'm gonna have to have my own personal menu. It is proven that one of the ways we when we start freaking out about control, we do stuff like that. That's why there are eating disorders. But having a more authoritative parenting, which is non-negotiable. No is no. Yes is yes. Do it if even if you don't want to, because that's how life is. You're gonna do stuff. You can't just I don't want to do it, so I'm not gonna do it kind of thing. That doesn't work with life. Life is not soft parenting. So those years, it may seem easy to have that kind of non-disciplinary parenting in the beginning. But then when you hit like 12 to 18, you're going to have more work than all of the time combined a person would have if they've remained like assertive and authoritative as a parent. And this is something that I've observed with um, my own child, my ex-wife, the way she parents. And there's a lot about being my ex because of parenting, really. Like that, I think broke the whole thing. But that's it. I am not a specialist, but I am a parent. So with that, I see how other people struggle, and how I have struggled, and I've come with conclusions that have to do with that. Now, because of the times and where we are now with technology and all of that, it is 100% um, uh, essential to have a grip over social media and over what is in our kids' diet in terms of consumption. You cannot rely on like the natural want to tell you what is okay for them to eat or consume or look at and all of that. They have no discernment. That's why they're adolescents. That's why they're children. That's why we agreed that under 18, kids should not be making certain decisions. So, well, some people will question that, and usually are the same type of mentalities that have led in other um, times, such as postmodernism, to promote pedophilic things like the age of consent, or when kids can decide what to do with their sexual and reproductive organs. You know where I'm going with that. So as a parent, you have to be the containment, and that strength will be that smoothness and subtle and nice, easy going. So just as some things that we consider weak, like water and wind, can over time be very eroding and take down a mountain. In the same way, a mountain can stop the wind and the water, and it will always go downhill, right? Well, if it's water. Um, but that's what I'm trying to say. It's exchangeable. So if you want to have an easier time, do things right. You don't have to be abusive. You don't have to like um, become a little Napoleon at home and have a trip about the power that you have over these kids. But definitely, it is best to see it as reaping what you sow. Like you put tomato seeds down, that's what you're gonna get, tomatoes, right? Unless the conditions or whatever else is not what it was in tomatoes. So there are external forces, there are things that are happening, there are, physical, psychological things that are going to be making that different. But in general, this all I'm talking about is in general, because if you're privileged enough to not have any of these conditions or whatever that could make the outcome completely not expected, you should be able to be a more involved parent and have a better result than calling yourself an easy parent, but really it is a lazy parent. It is not wanting to have the argument about the phone or the access to internet or this or that. It's basically just a selfish kind of way of parenting. It's not really a heroic thing to let them do whatever they want. So I hope that you get to try this tea, and I hope that you take my opinion as it is from someone who's not a professional or anything. But if you go to a professional, they may want to put your kid on some sort of pharmaceuticals and start profiting from something that could have been dealt with more dedication than uh, medication. So have a good one, and I hope that you have a great rest of your weekend, and we will talk soon.
This is the back, or the front of it, I guess. You can open it?
Yeah, I mean you saw the ventilation here and the
Here,
bottom.
you can take the camera if you want.
Yeah, that's okay. That comes off. You can see inside. I'm going to show. I'm gonna lean this here on your mobility device. There you go. Now you have a door. And I'm gonna put a couple of so it's lifted from the floor so the wheels are not. It's just to move it around that I put this wheel there. And then they have a little perch. They can perch and hang out.
Show the door.
This door? Oh, that?
And the solar panel.
The little solar panel. And it is automatic. Automatic.
So it opens with the sun.
Yeah. And it does that so if a chicken gets squeezed, it can come out. We'll leave it closed for today so we don't have undesirable inhabitants. That should be fine. I could put something with more grip, but they're gonna be fine. They usually just jump from there to there and stuff like this. So yeah, there you go. And I ended up using everything we had. I didn't use the stuff that I bought. It's gonna be fine. The chickens, you know what I mean?
Tough. This is a nice place to live. Very nice.